So one more thing that's going to be repeated over and over again that I've seen now. I saw Joe Scarborough was on a show with Katie Turr or something on MSNBC, and they were talking about why were all these lies? Why did Donald Trump Jr. lie about this conversation? Why did General Flynn lie about this conversation with Russians? Why did Jeff Sessions lie and then have to recuse himself? Why did the president lie? Why did this lie? Now they're just talking about the lies. They're saying if there wasn't any Russia collusion, which at least from the findings says there haven't been, then why were there all these lies about Russians? Now, there's a few things on this. This is the basic thing where if you actually have a conversation with someone at some time, just literally remembering every single conversation you've had with somebody. It's like, okay, someone has looked through your schedule and your film and they know, okay, this person, you actually talked to such and such person a year ago, or even just a few months ago. You were at this event and you talked to this person, or you had this meeting with this person. How many of you actually remember down to the T, not down to the T, but down to the person who you've talked to, what you talked to them about? Because in this situation, literally just lying to somebody in an investigation like that can be enough for you to be charged. Just lying to the FBI completely can be a reason for you to be charged. And this is also part of the reason why in some of these things, fake sexual assault cases, a lot of those situations, the people just make the accusation, but they don't actually go forward and file something in with the police. Because when you lie to the police, you are held liable, just like with the Jussie Smollett thing. With the Jussie Smollett hoax, the fact that he went up and allegedly lied about this thing and actually filed a report with the police, now that gets it to a point where he can legally be held accountable for that lie. Now, talking about these other hoaxes, they never really talk about. I mean, they say, okay, this is a reason for why. What's the reason behind this? What's the guilt that they're assuming or they're insinuating that this guilt because of the lie was there? Then how about the lies that people on their side tell? What is the guilt for Jussie Smollett for him to have his lie? What is the lie for the people who come out with the false rape accusations? What is the lie that these people are trying to get behind? And there might be some projection here because I think some of these people realize that in their lives, there's some things they can't talk about, and they do lie in order to get that thing out, to get attention for that. And I think in most cases, a lot of people are trying to get attention with lies, and then they project that on someone else. Whereas I think you should actually check and see what is the kind of lie. Are you lying about colluding, or are you just lying about having a conversation with somebody? Because just having that conversation with somebody is a whole different deal than actually lying about the situation where you actually were colluding, where you actually were planning to do something else. Now, there's so many lies in the media, on the mainstream media, on the political left. There's things like the Trayvon Martin thing, which was found not to be true. The hands up, don't head thing, hands up, don't shoot thing, which was found that wasn't found out to be true. But people continue with these things. People continue with this narrative, continue with this like, oh, it caused a conversation to be had, it attracted attention to something that needed to be done. So with that situation, those kind of lies, they're okay with them. Like, at least they lead to something. These supposed lies that they hardly ever actually go out and say, they lied about this. Just lied about a conversation with somebody. Okay, you lie about a conversation with somebody. What was that conversation about? Was that conversation just about maybe Uranium One? Was that conversation maybe about some Russian ambassador wanting to find out that now that Hillary Clinton's State Department helped them get worked some kind of things behind the scenes to actually get them to actually have, 20% or something of the uranium the United States has, or something like that, in that kind of situation. So was a Russian ambassador just coming in to check, like, hey, like, is this deal still going to be okay? Is the uranium still going to be shifted over to us? Can we still take possession of this uranium now that there's a chance if Donald Trump wins? Can we do this? Was that what the conversation was? Was this maybe something in Ukraine where they're looking in now and they're saying like, okay, under President Obama's administration, there were things happening with Ukraine where the ambassador was there. The current ambassador, who just got relieved a few days ago, he was an appointee of President Barack Obama. It's very staunchly anti-Trump. Some issues and things, even things that happened with Manafort, apparently had some dealings with Ukraine. So could this be people in the Russian government knowing that people in the United States government have some kind of interest with the Ukraine thing, and where they're like, okay, the things you guys have done, the interests you guys have had with President Obama's administration in Ukraine, and possibly assisting us or standing back as we annexed the Crimea area? Is that still going to be done? So is that what the conversations are about? Is that what these meetings are about? Is it about like, oh, that reset that Hillary Clinton had with us? Are you guys going to honor that reset? I know you guys are kind of anti-establishment. You're out of it. We know if Hillary Clinton gets in, that reset is probably going to continue. We know if it's like people that we're familiar with, we know those things are going to continue. So here we are. Here we are. We actually want to have this conversation with you. We actually want to see if that's going to continue. That whole situation that President Barack Obama had with President Medvedev, where he was like, after the election, I'm going to have more leeway. He was caught in a hot mic saying that. So whatever actually happened with that more leeway, whatever he meant in the political sense of it, could these Russian politicians just be saying, okay, so that more leeway thing that President Barack Obama started, when he started that, those things he started, some of the things behind the scene, some of those things are still ongoing, as with politics, things last for a while. So if you guys possibly win, is there a chance that you guys are going to continue these things? You're not going to actually go back, or are we going to have to stop some of these projects? Are we going to have to change things around? Maybe that's all they wanted to know, because we don't know about the actual conversations. We're just being told they lied about having a conversation. So what happened in those conversations? Was it about just things there? Because you have to remember, at this whole time, most of these situations, it was people talking to people in the Trump administration before Trump was actually in there. It was during the election, during the run-up. So this was under President Barack Obama's administration. There was Russians apparently infiltrating the political system in the United States of America and talking to people. And apparently some people in the FBI, in the intelligence community, knew about these things, but they felt no reason to go out and say, hey, Trump, by the way, these Russians might be trying to get into your campaign. You should kind of watch out for some of these people. Because with the report as well, apparently they've come out and said that there was actually offers. This again, the report is not fully out, but I've heard some people cover that they're saying there was actually offers and to actually enter something that could have been collusion, and President Donald J. Trump's team and people like that were like, no, we're not going to do this. So with some of that, was those conversations pretty much someone being like, hey, you want to buy this contraband? And I was like, no, I'm not going to buy that contraband. I don't like drugs. And then someone's like, hey, this person lied about talking to a drug dealer. That means they're a drug addict. Really, does that really follow? But hey, this is just another one of the pivots that people are going to do, and this is going to be an interesting time, and I think this is the start of a lot of things. But yeah, that's it for this whole lying thing. And this is the lying thing. I've had a couple of videos talking about this. Do you think it's easier to be honest than to lie? Like, and is it truly a lie? If somebody tells you, if I tell you that like God built the world in 7 days. Now, I've been taught that. I mean, there's actually something that happened, how the world came to be. But I have been taught that and convinced that that's what God did. And there's a lot of evidence that this didn't happen. But if that's my belief system and I say that, then am I lying? If I think that if I somehow think I was a white female, I identify myself as that, and then you say like, hey, Silas, what are you? I'm like, oh, I'm a white female with red hair. And am I lying? If I truly believe that, so this is kind of, so that's concentration. If you truly don't understand something, if you believe something else, are you lying in that situation? Now, this is a situation where it's like, hey, you passed out, you were blackout drunk last night or something, and then you went and you did something, and then someone's like, hey, did you do this? You're like, no, I didn't do this, because you don't remember it. Are you lying? I mean, technically, you are because you did that thing, but are you actually lying? So, I mean, with the whole situation with lies and things like that, I think take some of these things with a grain of salt and also realize that this is coming from very, very salty people, all this rhetoric and all this kind of special pleading and things like that. All right. So just a quick question for you guys. You don't have to answer this below in the comments, but just think to yourself. If you truly think Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, the establishment are bad people and a threat to freedom or whatever kind of positive life you think you have, would you mind if Donald Trump and other people used lies in order to stop them from doing what they're doing? And also the inverse, if you truly think Donald Trump is somehow spoiling the world, somehow, I'm not going to the literally Hitler levels, but just a bad actor in the world, and it would be better if he wasn't, would you care at all if people used lies in order to get Donald Trump to no longer be president.